Hello, dear friend, whomever you might be and wherever you might be. Happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, or belated happy 4th of July. I mentioned belated because the message I have to share with you is timeless. We will not create positive, meaningful, lasting change in America's K-12 public education or America. We will not make America great again until we teach children and teenagers how to memorize before ever telling children and teenagers what to memorize. That's the bottom line. That's the truth. So my question to you is also pertaining to Mr. James T. Harris. Some months ago, when education was more at the forefront, I called in 3 separate times to speak with Mr. James T. Harris. I do appreciate his critical thinking skills, yet I was able to get myself through the screener on 3 separate occasions. I kind of rolled into what James T. Harris was talking about, and when I began to speak about the need, the necessity, the urgency, and the requirement of teaching children how to memorize before ever telling children what to memorize, Mr. James T. Harris, on all 3 occasions, hung up on me. A former teacher, a critical thinker, hanging up on me when I raised that subject to Mr. James T. Harris. Why? As a former teacher, as possibly a teacher, a parent, a grandparent, an aunt or uncle, are you not interested in learning more? Do you remember the days? I would call it the good old days. Mr. Baer Young, KFYI, otherwise known as Dr. Science. I appreciate my teachers, and I'm very careful about who I choose as my teachers. If I can call in over the years to Mr. Baer Young and ask him virtually anything that pertains to science and receive the correct answer, the information, most likely I'm going to trust that person for critical thinking skills. It's very difficult to find those who have critical thinking skills. One of my teachers from the beginning, Edwards Deming, lived from 1900 to 1993. Only the method matters is the one quote Mr. Deming wanted us to always remember. More specifically, if you can't describe what you're doing as a process, you don't know what you are doing. Mr. W. Edwards Deming. So his book, Out of Crisis. Do you believe America is currently in a state of crisis? I don't think either of these gentlemen got a fair shake in K-12 public education. So I do not blame either of these gentlemen. I blame you. If you've ever heard my message over the years and you've chosen not to take action, I blame you. I don't blame these gentlemen. I very specifically have laid out in my book, Why School Sucks, the need, the urgency, the requirement of teaching children how to think, more specifically, how to memorize, before ever placing that burden on our children of what to memorize. My poster is very specific. You will be graded on what you can remember. You will be tested on what you are able to remember. You will be judged on what you are able to remember. And the young innocent boy, unconsciously, maybe consciously, even though I've never learned how to memorize, please think like a child. We will not create positive, meaningful, lasting change for the next 4th of July or the 4th of July after that until we choose to teach children how to memorize and, the bonus, how to create. Basically using the brain in the same way. A proven, dependable, repeatable method for memorizing, a proven, dependable, repeatable method for creating, so that we can actually create a great America. I'm not sure how much more I can share or I need to share. Critical thinking is the key. Who are your critical thinking teachers? Who have you learned from? Please share with me. Possibly I can learn from you. If we truly wish to create positive, meaningful, lasting change in America's K-12 public education and America, we must go to our founding father, Mr. W. Edwards Deming. We need to have a statue for Mr. Deming, our founding father of total quality management. This is the key out of crisis. His one quote, "Only the method matters," or better yet, where are you, Mr. Deming? Sorry, Mr. Deming. If you can't describe what you're doing as a process, pause. That's okay. I'm a one-man show here. You don't know what you are doing. Ask 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 teachers or students, what process, what method are you using for memorizing and creating? And the answer you will get is a big goose egg, 0. Please choose to participate for the sake of America's children, teenagers, and teachers, and those who are our teachers, our critical thinking teachers.